Hello everybody and welcome back to Leeton, and it's our first year anniversary. The channel has been going for 1 year. Can you believe that? It's amazing. And before I say anything else, I want to say a massive thank you to all of you guys, all the subscribers, for all the likes and all the comments, etc., and your tips and advice. It's fantastic, so thank you very much. And you know, there's over 600 of you now. It's staggering. So to celebrate the channel being going for 1 year, we're going to do a veg plot tour and show you everything that's growing and will be growing and how things are coming on, etc., and any problems that we're having. So we're going to do that, and then we're also, as a bonus on this video, Julie has agreed to show us around the plant garden, flower garden, and the things that she's got growing out there, and we'll talk about some of the progress that we've made out there as well, and really just celebrate the channel being 1 year old. Now, we have been working on the garden for probably a couple of years, on and off, so it isn't a 1 year anniversary of the garden, it's a 1 year anniversary of the channel. But what I have put together before we do anything else is a short video, a few minutes, of the work that we've done over the last couple of years, from this just being a bare grass area with a massive shed over there and a hedge along here, big conifer hedge like those at the back, to what it is now. So it's a look back over how it was and how it progressed and how it is now. And apologies for some of the footage and what have you, because it wasn't taken with a YouTube channel in mind at the time. It was purely just for our own, you know, keepsake to look back, etc. So sit back, enjoy the next few minutes of before and after footage, and I'll see you at the end of that for a veg plot tour. Wow, I tell you what, watching that has worn me out. Right, let's have a look at the veg. So this is the upper plot, which has all got to be sorted out and organised, but we've got to finish renovating the house, doing all the work indoors first. That's what all this timber is under this tarp and all these bricks, etc. And this will all be veg as well, but we have got a couple of little raised beds over here, and in here we've got French climbing bean. I can't remember the variety off the top of my head. Had a few fail, had to replant some seeds, but I think they're all coming through now, and they're just starting to begin their climb. In fact, that one there. And then we've got icicle radish growing in the centre. There's a bit of intercropping, get two crops out of the same bed. And then over here we've got white onion stir on. These were sets as a backup to the onions I sowed as seed in January. And then over here we've got the strawberry bed. Oh, that's our first strawberry of the year, I think. Not quite ready yet. Happy days. These aren't doing so well, and that's because I left them in pots too long, to be honest, and didn't plant them out in time. But I think we'll get some fruit, and then next year they'll really be off. And for those of you that have followed the channel for a while, this is the garden room. Empty, completely empty of plants and tidied up. Look at that. And the cloches are empty as well. And then going into our greenhouse, these cucumber, they're coming on nicely. I've potted them on recently and they've started to crack on now. They were looking a little bit tired, but I think potting them on has really saved the day. So we've got 3 of those growing now. That's a La Diva, pretty much ready for harvest, that one. Got quite a lot of others coming, so I'm just growing them along these wires. We've got basil there in the corner. This is all seeds, seedlings that are ready to go out when a place becomes available. So we've got kohlrabi, celery. This is a late sowing. It might not come to much, but yeah, I thought I'd give it a go. All year round cauliflower at the back, pak choy here, another batch of multi-sown Swede, best of all variety, so they've got to go out when they get a bit bigger. Chard, white silver, and then we've got purple sprouting broccoli here, and mixed salad leaves coming on there. And then here we've got a chilli. I have no idea the varieties. I've mentioned before, all the chilies were a mixed packet, so I don't know what I'm growing, but got a flower coming there, plenty more coming at the top there as well. And then got another one over here. Now this is obviously a different variety. It's a totally differently shaped plant, the way it's growing. If you look at that one, and then Look at that one. Completely different. And I don't know if we've got any flowers on this yet. I don't think we have. No. These are 2 spare chilies. These are the runts of what was sown, if you like. So these were the smallest ones. So I didn't pot them on. I've left them in there, in those size pots, and just see what happens. And then we've got melon here. Can't remember the variety. I do have the packet, but I think it might be honeydew. So there's those. These are watermelon. They've got to be desperately potted on now, really. I need to get onto that. Here we've got Alvaro F1. These are a melon too. And then at the back here we've got 2 butternut squash coming along. And it's weird, these were sown, these are from the same packet of seeds. Yet this one's got this white mottling on the leaves and that one hasn't. Anybody got any ideas on that? I don't think it's a mould or anything like that. It doesn't seem to rub off. I've got no idea what that is. It's very strange. So we're down on the lower plot. This is the main area now that we're growing vegetables in for this year. And as you can see, it's pretty full. So I think we'll go down this side first. So not long ago I totally harvested this rhubarb, put some farmyard manure around it, gave it water for a few nights, and it's away. Look at it, it's really putting out some new growth now. And it's all looking fantastic. And then over here we've got sprouts growing in here. That one's a broccoli. We had a couple of sprouts fail in the middle, so filled the space with a spare broccoli. And then all these are broccoli really to that sort of point there. We've harvested some started to bolt a little bit, so I don't know if you can make out there where I've cut the head off. But then we've got heads coming on some of the others. There's one. I don't know if you can make that out through the mesh. And apart from a really bad start with slugs, I've had a good year with the brassicas so far, in that aphids haven't got to them and the cabbage white hasn't got to them, and this mesh is really working, this little enclosure. So I'm really quite pleased. Just have been nice if the broccoli had held back a bit and not bolted, but we've had heads that are sort of this size, and there's still more to come. And I think the bolting is mainly down to the, we had a really wet spring, or start to the spring, and then it's been red hot. We haven't had any rain now for 4 weeks, and it's quite concerning, isn't it? The apple tree is coming on. Got some baby apples coming. That's going to need a bit of care and attention. Might have to thin out some of the fruit yet. Just leave one on each sprig, if you like. A couple of spare onions over there. I think they're the stir-on sets that I bought, and they were left over from the, like, they wouldn't fit into the bed where I was putting them, so put those there. These are multi-sown swede, and they were put in a couple of weeks ago. And then here we've got the Elsa Craig onions, sown from seed in January. Needs a bit of a weed, this bed. Got a volunteer potato there. We've got volunteer potatoes everywhere, to be honest. But yeah, I need to give this a weed. We've got fireweed coming through. Don't want that. And a few other things. I did pull a piece of mare's tail out here the other day, so got to keep on top of it. If anybody knows what this weed is, please tell me, because it's everywhere and it is a nightmare. Very deep rooted, and it seems to grow on runners under the ground, and then it comes up all over the place. Coming along the bed, so spinach. We've had some fantastic spinach, and it's still going. It's starting to try and bolt, but that's okay. We're harvesting the leaves, having them on salads, etc. And it's still going. It's brilliant. These small tomatoes at the front are Mascotka. It's a variety I've never grown before. And they're starting to put out some fruit now. Just needs to ripen. These three are red cherry, and again starting to get some nice trusses forming and fruit. And these are almost too big to be protected now with the fleece. And the good thing is, looking at the forecast, I think last night might be the last night I have to come out and wrap everything up in fleece and what have you, because looking at the forecast, it looks like we're going to be over 10 degrees for the foreseeable future on an evening. So fantastic. And then at the back there, we've got 3 beefsteak tomatoes coming on. Not grown as quickly as the red cherry. Not sure why that is, but hopefully they'll catch up and suddenly take off. They are looking a bit healthier the last few days, I've got to say. And I think that might be because the days are really getting warm now. So those cold times on an evening are sort of outweighed by the red hot days. What you see on the ground there is potash out of our log burner. I put a lot of potash down to put some potassium into the soil. As you know, tomatoes really like potassium. More volunteer potatoes there. And then over here, I think these in this area are cauliflower. And then over here we've got some more broccoli. The next generation, if you like, got a red cabbage there that we put out the other day. One there and one there. And then these are 2 Savoy cabbage. And then more volunteer potatoes here. These are King Edward, I would imagine, because that's what I grew in this area last year. And then this is a side shoot tomato plant. Thank you, Steve, for teaching me that trick. This is a Tumbling Tom bush tomato, taken from a side shoot, put in a pot and then planted out. So thanks, Steve. Another rhubarb. This was obliterated when I harvested it the other week, and look at it now. That farmyard manure is certainly doing wonders. And we let this one flower, and a few people said in the comments, oh, snap the flower off and what have you. But funnily enough, the one that flowered has come back far stronger than the one that didn't flower. And I wonder if letting it flower has kind of reset the plant. It now thinks, right, I'm off again now, and it's really putting out a lot of growth. I don't know, I'm not an expert on rhubarb. Got the pear tree here. That's certainly growing well now. It's sort of got itself above the fence, so it gets some sunlight now, because this end of the plot gets a lot of shade, and it's away. I can't see any sign of any fruit forming at all, or flowers yet, so we'll have to see on that one. And then we've got kale corner. So this is curly kale. There's 2 sowings here. Looks like one there's been slugged to death, but that's okay. Volunteer potatoes again, but I'm thinking I might as well leave them, see if we get anything out of them. I haven't got a problem with that, in this area at least. And yeah, I'm gonna have to check on the beer traps, I think, and get those sorted out today at some point, and topped up again, because we are forecast storms at the weekend, and with all the dry weather we've had, the slugs haven't been a problem. But as soon as we get some rain at the weekend, some storms, you know what's going to happen. They're all going to come up and start munching on the veg. So compost, this one is still shut down and doing its thing. That one's empty, ready to turn them into. And this one we're still filling. And we have got a Roland rat visiting this bay, and I am attempting to deal with that problem, but we'll see. A little bit of a flower area here, got some geraniums and a marigold, and as you can see, I just dot marigolds everywhere. Dwarf beans, so these were all sown in modules, and then I had a bit of space left, so I direct sowed these 4. Another little geranium there in a pot. And then these are all my sweet peppers. So we've got yellow bell peppers at the end, Sweet Amy. I think there's 4 or 5 of those at that end. And then all of these down here are a red bell pepper, no idea of the variety, home saved seed from 2020, and they're starting to form flowers, all of them. So I'm hoping if we get the weather and I can keep them warm enough and watered enough, that they'll give us a good crop, and we'll freeze them, use them and freeze them obviously. And this string idea, just 2 bits of string either side tied to the stakes, is really helping them on the more blustery days. Excuse me. Over here we've got pink fir apple potatoes, main crop, up to that area there. So they're coming on, having to water them. I wouldn't normally have watered potatoes at this time of year, but I'm having to. Then this side we've got 6 celery. These were shop bought ones in plugs, because I killed mine, cooked them to death in the cloch I think one day. And then at that end we've got celeriac. They're grown from seed. Started in February I think, indoors. The one at the far end was slugged, and there was no leaves left on it at all, and I thought, well, I'll leave it and keep watering it and see what happens. I did find the slug one night and killed it, and the plant's actually grown back. So even if you think the plant's had it and got no leaves left, they can come back. And then this is a planting of iceberg lettuce at the front. And yes, they are close together. That's fine. We will thin them out and take whole plants out to thin as and when, and just use them as salad leaves. Moving on down, this area is free at the moment for something to go in. These are Charlotte Earlys, which are now starting to flower. So yeah, they're going to be quite good. This one really has gone for it way before the others, almost like it's bolted. I don't know if a potato can bolt, but there you go. These are Maris Piper, main crop, and again they're now starting to form flowers. And then over here we've got there's 6 pots there. I think they're 40 litre pots, or 50 litre even, some of them. So we've got King Edward in most of them, in 5 of them, apart from that one, which is Maris Piper. Apologies for the helicopter. So yeah, these are coming on nicely, and hopefully another few weeks we'll be having some main crop potatoes. And perhaps another month, 5 weeks, something like that. Now, you've probably watched my video, some of you, on Marifat peas, and I'm struggling. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I put the first lot in, and we had a lot of rain, and it was dripping off the shed roof, and it totally flooded the pots. And since then I put the guttering up to stop that problem. Bought some more seeds, planted them, and we're still not doing very well. I think we probably had 3 or 4 come up out of the first sowing, and about the same on the second sowing. I've got no idea what I'm doing wrong. The carrots that I've put in there, they're doing fine. I think the seeds are just very old seed, and I'm buying them online, and I just think they're poor quality. I just think they're not very good seed. So I'm not going to bother anymore. I'm going to leave it, see what happens, let the ones grow that are growing, and then save some of those seeds for next year, or later in this year maybe, if I can dry them out in time. And then here we've got Charlotte potatoes, and this is part of the experiment that I'm doing. We've got 2 rows of 4 pots, and this row I've allowed to flower. So the flower, it has flowered and died back now. This side I took the flowers off. Some people believe taking the flowers off puts more energy into growing tubers. I don't know, that's why I'm doing the experiment. And the 2 pots at the back are homemade compost. Then we've got plain shop bought compost, then 2 pots with shop bought compost and potato feed, and then 2 pots with shop bought compost and fish blood and bone. And these are taking a hell of a lot of water now. I'm probably putting 4 or 5 litres of water a day in each pot. These are 40 litre pots, more than the main crop. These really are thirsty because they're coming to the end of the life. They're flowering, or flowered now, and they're really pumping the water out of these pots as they're photosynthesizing, etc. So let's have a look down in here. You can see I watered these last night, and it's damp, but in a couple of hours time these will be keeling over, and they're pretty much ready to harvest, to be honest. And I think that is going to be happening in the next few days, so look out for the potato reveal video. Over here we've got more side shoot tomatoes. Again, thank you very much, Steve. So we've got red cherry at the back, mascotka here, and beefsteak here. And I've given some away. I had more than this, and I've given some away. This is a second sowing of spinach that I will put out somewhere. Another strawberry plant there. And then down here we're into the herbs. So apple mint and peppermint. These are growing mad. I only bought them a few weeks ago as little pots from a garden centre. Parsley, got a nice fuchsia growing there. My coriander is now coming up, and then we've got more chilies, and again, no idea of the varieties, but they're all doing well, and they're all putting out flowers of some sort. We've got a borage there, That looks like it's going to flower. And then this is a lemon bergamot. It's got a little bit wilty, but the compost is damp. So I don't know if I've overwatered it, but this is amazing. It tastes of lemon really strongly. You just eat the leaves, and you can dry them and then add them to teas and cooking in general. Really nice plant. And we've got the salad bed, and we just keep eating it. It just keeps growing and we keep eating it. We've got iceberg at the front, mixed salad leaves at the back. Mange 2 coming on, got quite a few pods on there now. And they do grow with garlic, at least. There's the proof. A lot of people say they won't grow with alliums. Well, they are there. This is Solent white garlic. Started in January, and I have had a dig around in there, and the bulbs are forming quite nicely. So I'm hopeful. It's not ready yet, but I'm hopeful. Then we've got more cucumbers. Now these do need planting out or potting on, but I'm feeding them with seaweed, and it does seem to be picking them up a bit. I'm watering them basically with a seaweed dilution. Another chilli, some thyme, parsley from last year, and then we've got some lettuce at the front there, and what variety are those? Electric red onions from Sets. Quite a few have bolted, but we've eaten those, and the rest we're leaving to grow on. And then we've got Tumbling Tom tomatoes. Now, as you can see, some of these leaves have got purple on them, quite badly, some of them. And I've got 4 of these plants. There's 2 there and 2 there, and they're putting up loads of fruit, but they're looking a little bit ill, and I've checked and they are pot bound, and I want to get past this weekend so that the warmer temperatures are here, and then I can plant them out. But I am running a little experiment with different types of feed on these 4 different ones, and depending how that experiment goes will depend on whether I do a video, so look out for that. I might put that video out. Over here we've got salad at the front, and then broad beans. Look at these. These can't be far off now. And yes, we've got a bit of black fly, but I'll just go around and wipe them off, give them a spray with some water. Not too bad. It certainly doesn't seem to be stopping them from producing pods anyway. And then we've got sage in this pot. These are the other Tumbling Toms. And then beetroot and spring onion. There's successional sowings of spring onion here. And then these are the leeks, Musselburgh. They're coming on well, good sort of, some of them are good marker pen thickness now. So I'm pleased with those. And then we're into this raised bed. So courgettes, we've already had quite a few, and they're really starting to pump out the crop now. Well, this one is, and that one at the back. This one's in the sunlight all day, then that one, then that one, and then that one, and you can see the difference what sunlight makes. And then these are again all taken from side shoots, these bush tomatoes. There. Thank you, Steve. Butternut squash, that's coming on nicely. We've had a couple of flowers, and we've got our first squashes forming. And that I'm going to probably grow out and along the floor or on hooks on this wall. Parsnips, so these were direct sown, all these small ones. Most of these are Gladiator F1 for the potty mouth challenge, and then the others are White Gem, and they were started in pots dissolved in cardboard pots in January indoors and planted out in February, protected with half pot bottles over the top. And you can get parsnips this early in the year doing that method. And then we're into the carrot bed. So these are the last sowings that are just coming through. And then these are the older ones that were sown April, May, yeah, April I'd say. There's two varieties here, most of them are Nantes, but then there is a white variety, a white carrot. The magpies are kicking off in the hedge, and I can't remember which rows are which now, but I think it might be these two rows that are the white ones. And again, more salad kicking about. It's got to be planted out somewhere. But it's all coming on. A lot of food grown here now, and everything seems to be pretty much under control. Marifat peas I'm struggling with, bit of black fly on the broad beans. A couple of things bolting, you know, some onions and some of the broccoli, etc. But overall, I'm really pleased with how it's going. So that's the veg done. Let's go see Julie and we'll go around the garden and see what she's got growing. All right.
Hiya.
So what we got growing in your garden?
This is probably the shadiest part of the garden. So I've planted some shade-loving plants. These Akuras. This is called lime marmalade. They can be in the sun and they can be in the shade, and there's hundreds and hundreds of varieties, and I love them to bits. They're my favourite plant.
Right.
Next to them are foxgloves. They just grow everywhere. So I've planted them in the shade, but they like better in the sun. They grow bigger in the sun. But another Hakura. This one is forgotten the name, but there's hundreds of them. There's a firecracker. There's a Paris one. This is a hellebore. This likes shaded. It comes out January, February time, Christmas time. So that's why it's called a Christmas rose. They love the shade. This is just a Hebe that Jason's mums gave us a cutting of, so that just grows everywhere. It prefers the sun because it's variegated, but again, I'm just feeling, I move my plants. I don't, sometimes if they grow I move them all over. This holly bush was already here, so it's just keep it. It's nice green, especially around Christmas time. Then we didn't have any beds along here. This was just empty, so I've just randomly planted plants. This is a stilby. This is another shade loving plant. I mean, it's got the sun at the minute, but then it goes off this afternoon. These come in different varieties. These are the flower part of it, beautiful. That's a verbena. Obviously they're all planted too close, but I will move them as they grow. Jason's mum, she's grown this from seed. It's a cornflower, so I've just planted it in the garden. This is I can't pronounce, I think it's called a juga, flat scallop. And I've got another one of these in the garden up the top, and it's 4 times the size of that. It's just a ground cover, and it comes up with beautiful purple, blue flowers.
Okay.
This little thing here is called a phlox. They're good in the sun or the shade. This humongous plant that was in the garden when we got here, I've just dug them up, planted them, but they're called red hot pokers. Yeah. Obviously they love the sun, but the ones at the other end of the garden that are in the sun all day are absolutely huge.
Yeah, they're nice, aren't they?
But this is a variety of broom, and it's gone now, but in the spring it's a peach, a very light peach colour, absolutely beautiful. It looks so stunning. So maybe another time when it's out, Jason do another garden tour when you get to see it in its full glory. I've got clematis growing at the back. There's all varieties of clematis, but I never buy expensive plants. They're always reduced, and if they're perennials, they all come back every year. So same with daffodils, when they're gone, I buy them for 10p. Plant them in the garden. Another clematis, but it's not doing the best. A Wester plate.
Yeah.
So, but still stunning colour. Another. These just grow and grow and grow. They'll be better in a circle planted, but I've just randomly planted them. But they'll end up being dug up at some point.
I think I recognise that. Is that a pink?
Yeah.
See, I do know something.
Yeah, you do. And these are just my nightmare because they're just brambles and they're just growing.
Yeah, well, that's because the other side of this fence is all wasteland, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's all sorts out there.
Yeah, and this is our cherry tree.
Yeah, and we are actually getting some fruit on it this year. We need to perhaps net this soon, stop the birds getting on it.
Yeah, definitely. Variety, yeah, I've got it up. Morello. So we'll let you know what they taste like. Another will be down the back there. But like I say, I've probably paid 50p for these, and I've just planted them, and
Yeah.
you know, that looks healthy enough. This one, not sure what this one's called, but it's a ground cover. But I bought these from B&M's, 10p. They were totally gone, and they were selling them for £6, I think. There's still lots of little buds on there, so it's going to flower again.
Yeah.
So for 10p, bargain.
That's it, innit? Keep them damp and
Yeah.
get them established.
And this is another favourite plant of mine. It's a Pittosporum. I just love these. They're just. I trained as a florist when I was younger, and I use Pittosporum a lot in my flower arrangements. So I just love this plant. It's just so versatile. It's got so much movement. It's lovely. Another cheapy one that I think I paid £1 for. I think this is called Red Robin. It's like a hedge kind of shrub. Again, that will grow really huge, and I'll probably have to pick it and move it. But for 50p, why not? This here is scabious. It's not. It's a blue scabious. That one. Obviously, I've got to do my weeding, and I think that's a Salix, a flamingo. That was another 50p one that was dead in the pot. Same with this one. It is a
That's difficult to pronounce, that is.
Symphonic Carpus.
Right.
But comes out with them pretty like berries and flowers. So another 50p one, and it's survived. Another cornflower geranium, that was another one that I paid 10p for. Another cornflower, honeysuckle, that will go mad. We bought, Jason takes them to a garden centre in Wales, and these were reduced. I think they were £8. So that was another good bargain. That's so it's like in a bud, and then they come out. How beautiful they are. Another phlox. I think that was another of my cheapy plants, but I haven't got a clue what that one is. Nefertira, I think this is. This will grow into some huge bush. I think that one's a pink one. I've got a pink one and a white one. It's whichever one that one will be, I don't know. Another Acura. And you can split these and just a bit like hostas, split them and then replant
They have
them.
a crown,
Yeah,
like a rhubarb.
yeah. And you can just, and they're just beautiful. I mean, I've got about 6 varieties in this garden. And another favourite of mine is the broom, Genista. It's going over a bit now, but that was beautiful with this and the whites. And this one, I bought this in the sale. It's a Alstroemeria. Believe it or not, I paid £3 in the sale again, and it survived all the cold winter. It's the first time it's been planted, and it survived. And the one up the top it's actually flowering now, and it's all orangey and yellow flowers. It's beautiful. Clematis, it's gone over. It's not. I don't know. I don't know if you have to deadhead these, but some more flowers coming.
Might help, mightn't it?
Yeah, so maybe I should have to deadhead them, and then there's hopefully we'll grow it up here. That clematis will come in the spring. That will cost me 50p again.
Right.
So it's gone, but I know it'll come back next year. So I just thought I'd plant it. So that'll be out in the spring, growing, and then when that's gone, this one should be coming out. So I'm trying to.
Cool.
And then another really favourite flower of mine is an agapanthus. It doesn't look much at the minute, but once it comes out, and the long stems with the blue or white bells on them, they look beautiful. This was another cheapie. It's called a Scalionia pinkeli. Looks lovely. You can put it in a pot. So as it gets bigger and that's bigger, I might just dig it up and put it in a pot.
Yeah. So
this one was, I think this was another cheapie one. It's just gone over. I haven't got a clue what it's called, but it's a beer climber. But it was, it's gone off now, but it all did look lovely.
I think the hot weather that we've had for a month has slowed a few things down, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so too. This one is oxalis. My mum grows them. She has them in the house plants, but they are garden plants too. But I don't think it likes where it is. So
okay.
If I can, I'll have to look at that one a bit later on where to put it.
So location or soil probably.
Yeah.
Likes a different soil.
Yeah, because it was all like just grass and I don't know. The soil's very clayey. This is a sambuca. It's absolutely beautiful. It'll grow as tall as this fence. We want to grow some tall things because obviously they're going to be building houses over there, and with the dark leaves and then the dark purple leaves and then the pale pinks. Oh my god, it looks. Jason's mum's got a huge one in her garden. It looks absolutely beautiful. So that's why I got that one, and it's just called a sambuca black lace.
Okay.
So that will just fill that. You'll love it when it comes out. And this is our apple tree.
Yeah. Is it doing anything? It's got little apples on, look.
Yeah.
And this will grow to probably 5 metres, won't it? So.
Yeah.
And I'll have to sort of come out and try and prune it into a goblet shape.
And I think that the apples will be September time, won't they?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. This is down here. It's not planted in the right place, but I just love it. Look, this is a Hakura again. And look, it's a different one. And look at these beautiful pink.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. And there's hundreds of varieties, and each one is different coloured, different leaves. But isn't that? And that's been flowering since about April time.
Wow.
It's still going strong now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. But against this with a variegated, the pink's all right, but I need to, once this grown a bit more, I'll chop the bottom leaves. So this is a showpiece on its own. This is another Pittosporum. These grow huge. Different varieties to the one that I just showed you earlier, but lovely movement. Beautiful. So we've got, if that's Salvia or Veronica down there, I can't really remember, but that'll be a tall purple flower. Another clematis. None of these plants were expensive. They were all cheapy. That was mine. That was just a little shrub, and I didn't think it would survive the winter, but it has. Behind my little Buddha over there. This tree is a mimosa. We were going to plant it by the pergola, which we'll show you later, but we found out it's quite evasive and it will just take over, so I'm going to have to leave it in a pot. But in the spring this will be lots of yellow pom-pom type flowers. It's absolutely beautiful. So if we can keep it growing there, it likes a sunny position, so I thought this is probably the best place for it.
Yeah.
Got fuchsias. These are the red hot pokers. I prefer them to be all in a circle planted, but when we moved in, I just planted things anywhere, And look how giant they are. But can you imagine them in a big circle?
Nice, isn't they?
Beautiful, aren't they? And you just see them each day. They change. I mean, from them ones down there to these, but they just take over. They're not right plants that bed, but look how stunning they are.
But these get the sun pretty much all day, don't they?
Yeah, that's why the difference between them and the ones down there in the shade.
Yeah.
But they were growing under a very shaded tree, so they do grow.
Yeah.
But they look stunning if you've got a sunny spot, and you can plant them in a circle, and they would just all be different heights, different spikes, and different stem shapes. It's lovely. This was a peony. It's gone now. It's a beautiful plant, peony, but their flowers don't last long. But that's gone. This bed's not planted properly, but we've not been here long and we've been doing a lot of work, so things were just planted. That was another broom at the back there. Another heuchera here. See this different shaped leaf? And I know there's buds down there because I've seen someone. So that was flower. There's hundreds, so if you've got a dark corner, you could plant them and they give colour to the shaded parts. Another heuchera here. That's wispy and in the wind. And see how purple, it's like beetroot colour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Lupins, beautiful lupins. Got some little buds here.
I think this bit here for me, I mean, that foxglove, I've never seen a foxglove that big, I don't think.
Just loves the sun, and it's just sprouting little ones off it. But I don't remember planting that. I could have done, but some of these just self-plant themselves anyway.
Self-seed everywhere, don't they?
Yeah. But I don't think the ones in the shaded area will be like anywhere near this. But in the sun, they obviously love it. There's that Juga, I think. And that's all the ground, covered the ground. We've recently cut the hedges, so we haven't cleared up properly yet.
Because in this bed you've got a problem with ground elder, haven't you, growing in from the hedge?
Yeah.
And
spend the whole day trying to dig it out, but
and bindweed as well, I think, haven't you?
Bindweeds and nightmare.
So anything you can get to cover the ground is a help, I suppose.
Yeah. And that's why I've been buying these like cactus-like succulents, because when it's dry like it is now, these just thrive, and they would just ground cover.
Suppress the weeds a bit.
Yeah. So I've got a deep purple one there, and they come in different shapes and sizes, and I just love those. I'm not sure what this was called. I think this is a council plant people used to say years ago, but when it comes out, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's finished now, isn't it? But
it's finished, but against the white lilac and the deep purples and reds of this, pink reds, it looks beautiful. The hosta I split from a big one that's up at the top in the sun constantly, so that one was split from there. It's doing well. We've got so many strawberries that we've just planted them anyway. I know shouldn't be in the shade, but
they're still bringing some fruit on, isn't it?
Yeah. So I just wanted something to cascade over my pots, because he bought me a pot for me Christmas. I wanted one of them pots, and he bought me one for Christmas, so it's nice to make them look pretty. Then it's onto the rockery.
So when we moved in, this was just a grass bank, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the rocks, basically, the rockery was there, I think, and then the grass had grown over it, hadn't it?
Yeah. So we found some rocks that was in there, and then the rocks in the garden, and we've just redone it. But it was looking really pretty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But some things have just gone now. But that asylum, that's been flowering. It's sort of died off a little bit, and then it's started flowering again. So it's probably going to be flowering for some time.
And this is a hedge that we put in, Pyracanthus. The idea being it'll grow up and be a barrier basically between the drive and the garden, won't it?
Yeah.
And the bees are loving it at the moment.
It looks beautiful. And last night when I came out before it went totally dark, the white flowers on there just was shining, just so bit the place up. It was lovely. This is a hydrangea. This was already here. It's pink. It's a really pretty hydrangea. We just keep cutting that back, don't you?
Yeah, I butchered that last winter, didn't I?
Yeah. And I did an experiment. No, Jason does experiments, but I think if you just take these, I mean, I don't know. I've planted some over the gardens, planted in 4 different positions. I think you can just take them off. Just empty the stems at the bottom. I've put one up there. Look, see, and I think they will just grow.
Like a cutting.
Yeah. So I've put one over there, and one over that part of the garden. I think there's one on that half moon bit as well. So again, you know, if it works, I'm sure I've seen a channel and that's what they did, so I thought I'll give it a go. It's a bonus. But that's will just grow and grow. I'm hoping that eventually I won't have to weed much. Just what comes through the plant. So I like all my sedums and my succulents. This looked like a coral. It's gone now, but it looks lovely in May. But this was beautiful, wasn't it, Jason?
Yeah.
It's just sort of gone.
It's been so hot as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. And I know you shouldn't plant petunias in here, but last year I planted petunias and it was just covered in petunias. And it did look lovely because it was just cascading everywhere. And this is that, I think it's Nepeto, catmint.
Oh yeah.
Bees love that too. I think they've got a weed growing in there.
There's weeds everywhere, isn't there?
Just having the time, doesn't it, to let them do it. This is a more recent part of the garden, isn't it?
Yeah, well, last year we had a massive compost heap here, didn't we?
Yeah. And the bins were different up there, weren't they? So we dug all that out and slabbed it nice.
Yeah.
And then we've built all this up to the size of the ramp. So the pear tree wasn't doing very well, but it seems to love it now.
It's come on this year, hasn't it? I think it's got established, and we're just going to leave it do its thing this year and then prune it next year or in the autumn, winter.
But this catmint is doing absolutely fabulously.
Yeah, the bees love it, don't they?
Yeah. And we found this huge rock in the garden when you was digging the bank out, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what this is. I think this is just weeds, that. But that huge rock, so we've used that as a focal point to just. And then this is where actually the compost bin wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so this is the newest bit of the garden. So yet again I've just done it's a bit messy. It needs tidying up a bit now, but there's a delphinium growing. I suppose a delphinium shouldn't be planted there, but it's just.
Yeah, you can plant things wherever you want, can't you?
Yeah. But
Got strawberries in there as well. Look.
I've planted strawberries because we had so many strawberries, and eventually, I've got to build this wall up again. But it's just trying to tie everything in. And the tomatoes, which we wouldn't really plant tomatoes here, but it's grown up the cane. So, yeah. Lilac, that's gone now, but when they come out, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Syringa vulgaris. Beautiful. And it smells wonderful. And then we're trying to make that into an arch, aren't we?
Yeah, between I think that's an elder, isn't it?
Yeah.
And whatever that is.
That's a forsythia.
Forsythia.
So that flowers in the spring, and that's yellow, it's beautiful. So we're trying to, because it was leaning that way, we're trying to grow it into an arch, aren't we?
Yeah.
And
then recently we've made these beds, haven't we?
Yeah. They look a bit at the minute.
And put the pergola in. And that rose, wow.
Yeah, that's the reason why we built that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we just need it to grow a bit more so it can start resting on top of it. I've planted another pink one there. That was another cheap one. So hopefully that'll be a pale pink one growing up there, next to the rhododendron pink, and then these multiple pinks, because this starts off yellow and orange, doesn't it?
It's all different colours, isn't it?
Yeah, and then as it comes out, then it's like, it's amazing, isn't it? Look at that. But it's got a lot of black spot on it, and I've read that take these leaves off, but I'd literally have to strip the whole leaves off, and I don't know whether that would do that any good, because when it rains, if there's a good leaf, the black spot will just contaminate the nice leaf. So that's why you have to constantly, but this, it's been there for so long that it's just been neglected really, hasn't it? It wants to live.
Well, we've cut it back once, haven't we?
Yeah.
We pruned it, and if I remember right, last year it flowered all through the summer.
Yeah, and in the winter we've got a rose in that hedge, and a rose grows and it's this colour, so whatever kind of rose it is, it's pretty hardy.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful rose, isn't it?
If anyone's got any advice on the black spot, please let us know in the comments. That rhododendron we're going to give a good pruning, aren't we, when it's finished, and try and shape it properly, because there was a fence here, and that's obviously it's grown flat where the fence was, so it needs reshaping. But
there's just going to be some agapanthus and the iris in there.
Well, this is
delphiniums.
the newest bed, isn't it? So it's
Yeah.
literally a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so, and I've moved things, so I shouldn't have moved these agapanthus, so whether they will flower this year now, but when they have in the past, there's about 50 blooms on them. They're amazing. And if it takes over this bed, come July, it will look absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And when the pink grows up there, with the pinks and the purples and the contrasting behind in this bed, it will look lovely. So, yeah.
You've got this bed over there as well, haven't you?
Yeah, this was the first one I sorted out, but it's been neglected since. But having so much to do, I've planted more of these red hot pokers, but I'm doing as well as them ones over there. I've got some alliums, I love alliums. I think I just like plants on stems with balls on the end. There's a hostel at the back there that I've planted, and there's another cheap, I don't know what it's called, but I got that cheap from, I think I paid £1.50 for it, but in the winter it's got purple bulls on it, little tiny bulls on it, and it does flower. It does have them, it comes at Christmas time, so that's nice. Didn't cut the hydrangea back, but
No, we'll do it this autumn.
yeah. And then we need to sort that rose isn't doing great, but we're going to move that, aren't we?
Yeah, well, when the greenhouse gets moved, we'll be able to get up here and
Sort it all out.
yeah.
But that's another red hot poker, and it obviously loves. They just look at the size of the leaves.
Yeah.
But this did look really nice, but it's just gone overgrown again now. But we've got a clematis up here; it's doing well, so I'm going to try and grow it against that wall. So that survived the winter as well. So it's all been here. So I have got a passion flower, but I don't know what's doing. It's probably down there somewhere. But yeah,
So that's a tour of your garden.
yeah.
Alright guys, well thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video and our garden tour to celebrate 1 year of the channel. And if you've liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do, and follow us on our journey. See you next time. Cheers.